With all of that, we're gonna move on to our favorite segment of the day. That's the card of the week. Yay. Card of the week this week is brought to you by Brendan Patrick. Brendan, can you tell us what this week's card of the week is?
Yeah, so it's Aether Wildfire. I hope there's an image popped up because I don't know if I can read the text from mine. But yeah, so Aether Wildfire is an interesting card in Flesh and Blood because it's probably the most powerful card, but probably one of the least played cards in the game. It's led to most of the success that me and my team have had on these professional circuits has been due to Aether Wildfire. But the reason why I like the card is because Flesh and Blood, due to the nature of the resource system and the cards you attack with become resources as well, et cetera, it's a very mathy game. Like the game exists on some sort of base equation, and everything tries to equalize around like a core value of 8 or 4, but most people go with 8, right? And Aether Wildfire in no way exists on that spectrum and completely breaks every sort of math rule of the game, but at the same time, it's a super clunky card. It's hard to play. It's like it has to do like some sort of complicated and somewhat convoluted combo. But once you understand this card, the math becomes really easy because it's heuristic based, and we deal with values that are base 32. So the starting life total in Flesh and Blood is 40. The base damage of an Aether Wildfire combo can be around 32 if you have the number of resources you should have. That's a lot. We're talking crazy. Like the most damage you'll see on like a card that costs 2 like this is like 6 damage. So this is 32 base. Obviously needs supporting cards, but it's in Flesh and Blood. We talk a lot about math because it's honestly people understanding the math of Flesh and Blood, understanding values of cards is why they become successful and why people don't. And we have this conversation a lot, just like at these tournaments, and people, analyze cards, and there's always this back and forth conversation. What's good, what's not, why these decks are successful, why these players are successful, why they brought this card, that card. And Kano is like the outlier, and people are like, Kano doesn't make any sense. Like the math is terrible. All of Kano's cards, the rest of the cards are really underrated. Like this card is technically like a 2 for 4, right? That's super underrated. 2 for 6 is like the base, but when combined with the right cards and combined with the right play pattern, it's not 2 for 4. It's
32 for whatever 32, the number is.
Exactly. 2 for 32 base. Like it's insane. I really like this card in Flesh and Blood because it breaks the game, in my opinion.
If there's one thing I've learned about card games is just because there's like a flow to the game, like you were saying, like the 2 for 8 or 2 for 6, whatever it is, combo always doesn't care about that. Combo is, I want to do my combo and the game's over. It doesn't matter what every other person is going for, their specific rule or how the meta is shaped out to be. It's if I can just kill you in one turn, it doesn't matter all that math we just went for the rest of everyone else. Combo goes around it.
Yeah, so if you guys come from a Magic background or you understand Magic decks, this deck in Flesh and Blood, this is Amulet Titan in Flesh and Blood.
Oh, he loves it.
I love Amulet Titan.
He has it.
Yeah. I'm 100%. I'm looking at it right over there. There's Amulet Titan. But when you were talking about that, I'm like, this is reminding me of Amulet Titan. I should play this deck.
Oh, it's not a deterministic combo, and the pieces you can use to assemble the combo are very dynamic, and they very much depend on the current state of the game.
Well, when I started playing Amulet Titan, and I think the reason I picked up Amulet Titan was I like green, but I also, when I started playing combo decks, I'm like, man, I just love the play patterns, the problem solving, like in the moment that I have to try and do to figure out how to get my combo. And I immediately fell in love with Amulet Titan and just those play patterns and just figuring out on the fly, how can I beat you here? How can I win? And so and that's one of the things I love about card games, right? Is these different archetypes, right? And I fell in love with combo, with the combo strategies and just those types of decks. And but yeah, I that was just immediately where my mind went to, and I loved it 100%.
There's a sort of a vernacular question I have, because I think that not all combo decks are the same, but they all really fall under the word combo, and I think it can be really misleading. So if you think about a deck like Amulet Titan or Legacy Elves as a combo deck, But then you think of something like a Legacy Painter, or maybe like a Splinter Twin, like
some Charbelter.
Yeah. Like a 2-card combo deterministic win versus a deck like Amulet Titan. They're both combo, but they could not be, I think, further from each other in terms of like play patterns and like what they're trying to do. Yeah. And Flesh and Blood is like that too. We don't have 2-card combos, but it's hard to be like, there is another combo deck in Flesh and Blood called Bolton, and it will effectively just like draw the right cards eventually, and it just kind of if it draws the right cards, it vomits its hand and it wins the game. The Kano deck is not like that at all, right? It's a solitaire deck, but at the same time, it's dynamic. It can adapt to anything. It's like the specific card you play for the combo can be multiple different things. I don't know how to sort of delineate between that combo and this combo.
And that's it.
You guys use?
Well, that's a good question, right? I don't know. Do you have an answer?
I really don't.
because I mean, I think we use these terms, combo, tempo, whatever the case may be, right? As a very generalized term of gives you an idea of how the deck plays and how the deck functions, right? So, but I also think the combo archetype can vary so widely. Like control is control.
I was gonna say maybe rather than how the deck is played, I think it's more of how does the deck win? Because we talk about Splinter Twins, and that's a combo deck, except you're playing Is It Control until you win the game with Splinter Twins.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like even in post board, you could just bring in a bunch more control spells and then just win through the attrition setup. So it's like, because then you also look at how Amulet Titan works. You just have a lot of like pretty good cards until you just instantly kill them with Amulet Titan of attack with haste and get in there, make the Valacuts and then just blow them up. So you're still playing like really good cards.
It's also like what is the combo? Like there's like these 2-card combos, but then there's like combo elves, right? Like the combo that you do in like Legacy Elves is like
you gotta build up.
Very dynamic, right? Like it's like you couldn't draw up one single way to combo off of elves. You could write out the win condition, but that's not the combo, right?
Right.
And I think that like that's a huge difference. Like you're right, there is a control magic shell in Splinter Twin, but ultimately that is the win condition. But like you look at like a deck like elves or something like that, like there is that single win condition, but the actual combo you're pulling off is like much more lengthy. I feel like the decision trees like kind of go much wider out, and they give you a lot more agency as the combo player. But I think that the answer is like we don't have a word for it. Like there is no word. Right. It all just falls under combo.
Burn is also a 7-card combo. You just get 7 bolts to their face and you win the game.
We have a meme for that in Flesh and Blood. There's a really, really boring fatigue deck called Oldhim Fatigue. And we call it Oldhim Fatigue combo. It's like I block you out, I win the game combo. It's like, you literally do nothing. You don't play the game at all. You just throw your hand down every turn. Combo.
Yeah. Well, before we get out of here, I do have to say I love the fact where before we're on this call, we talk about, oh yeah, I'm not a big Magic player, but I know Magic. And he's talking about all these decks as if like he knows them. 100% he knows them. I'm like, that's awesome.
He said he went ham into researching Magic.
Correct.
So
I watched a lot of old coverage, like an obscene amount. Like I think I've watched most Pro Tours, most World Championships, and a lot of GPs.
How's it feel about
10 years, 5 years after? That one, I don't think I've seen that one. I usually went for, was that a standard Pro Tour? It was.
Yeah,
right?
It was. Yeah.
I usually don't go standard. I usually go modern or legacy because it's
Rivals of Ixalan, I think was the last modern one. Yeah.
That's funny.
Was it Yuya? Wait, no, Rivals of Ixalan. Who won that?
I just know that it was Lantern Control was the winner.
That was Seth Manfield, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't know who was piloting.
Who is this? This is crazy.
Ladies
and gentlemen, this is what research looks like, okay? This is what research looks like.
Doesn't matter how long you've been in the game. It matters how much effort you put into the game.
Well, okay, when I first started playing Magic, when I first played a game with AJ, and he said, oh yeah, I just picked up Magic within like the year. He's naming off all these cards. I'm like, dude, You say you just started playing and you know all these. You know what everything does. Who are you? That's crazy. That's insane.
I've never played a game of competitive Magic, like at a Grand Prix level or anything like that. Never.
That's crazy to me. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what research looks like. Just look at the face of Brendan Patrick right here, Mr. Research. That's crazy. So, all right, well, that is this week's card of the week. Our first Flesh and Blood card.